Hello and welcome. Alright, so in this video I'll be explaining a JavaScript concept known as DOM. Now, what is DOM? DOM simply means document object model. Let's write it. That's DOM. So it's an abbreviation for document object model. Okay, now what is the use of this DOM? So DOM helps us to access HTML file when using JavaScript. So it's like a link between HTML and JavaScript. Remember that when we are using CSS, we have to use this link style sheet and all to link CSS to HTML. Then we can use the outside CSS. But in JavaScript, if I want to access my code in HTML and then I want to change them or manipulate them or do something to them, then I need to use DOM to link those pages together. Okay, so this is how it works. Let's say this is my body section. Let me take this out. Alright, so this is my body section. Now I'm going to create something and work with DOM so that we understand better. So let's create a paragraph tag. Then let's try something. This text will change. So I will give this an ID. Let's say just call it text1. So I want you to take note of something. When you are giving it an ID, make sure that there is no space. Don't add a space here. Just give it an ID like this and there is no space. Okay, so if we check this, you see this text will change. Now let's go to our JavaScript and access this. So now in JavaScript, if I want to access this text that I write here and probably change it to something else, what I'll do is I'll do document dot get elements by ID. So you see the different options here: get element by selection, by name, by tag name. So we are going to click get elements by ID. Alright, so now which element do I want to get? What's the ID? So I'll come here and put the name of that ID here, which is text1. Okay, now outside this place I'll come and put dot inner text. Then I can inner text equals to, then I can change the text to whatever I want it to be. So here we have this text will change. So I can come here and say it has changed. Now let's run this and see. Okay, you see we are still having this text to change. So we have to make sure that our JavaScript is linked to our HTML. That's using this script tag. src source. So main.js. So if we run this, so you see it has changed. So anything I put in this JavaScript text here, this is a different right. So you see, this is a different text. So anything I put in this place, that's what is going to appear irrespective of what I wrote here. Okay, so that is how to use the DOM. Now let's look at other examples. So there are three main ways of using DOM or calling an element in HTML. So let's write that. 3 ways of using DOM. Now the first method is what we used here. The first one is get elements by ID. So this is the first method, get elements by ID. So the second way to do this is get elements by class name. Okay, so we are going to be exploring that one now and check how it works. So we tried getting elements by ID. Now let's get the elements by class name. So instead of you do dot get, so you see get elements by class name. Now if we run this, is the text that is in our HTML that is showing, because this is still an ID and it is not a class. So what I'll do is I'll change this ID to class. Okay, let's see, get element by class name. Okay, so we are still having the same text. Let's close this. Okay, now let's try something here. Okay, still having the same text. Now you see that when we use get elements by class name, it is not changing the text. We are still having this text we change, and then it is not changing the text. Most times it is more preferable to use get elements by ID, because for instance, if you are using a Bootstrap class, if you are working with Bootstrap, you will see that some class name are already assigned in Bootstrap. So if you call it, it's not going to work. So that's the challenge we're having here, that it is not working. So it is best you use get elements by ID. Okay, so let's see this, get elements by class name. Then so the text did not change. Now let's there is another method of doing this. So you see that get element by ID is like more effective, but there's another method, which is the third method, number 3, query selector. Now what is query selector? Query selector now is like the most modern way of using, if you are using DOM, like the most modern way you can get elements from HTML. So it is the most modern way, and then this is the best way to do it. Now I'm going to take all this thing out, then we are going to use query selector. And when you are using query selector, make sure that you are using ID. You can use class too, but there is a condition. So now let's do documents dot query selector. So we are not going to do get element by, so we just do document dot, we now click on query selector. Okay, let's make this capital letter. Now then dot query selector, we are going to select what we want, that's the text one, then dot inner okay, for this one we use dot inner HTML. Now equals to, this is a different text. Let's check it out. So the text did not change, so you might be wondering what happened. Now if you are using query selector, remember when we talked about CSS that you want to call an element that is ID in CSS, you are going to use hash. Then when you want to call an element that is class in CSS, you use star. So now I want to call an element that is ID, so I'm going to add hash to this place. So you see, let's check it now. So it just changed. This is a different text. So if I remove this hash, what you see there is that text that we have in our paragraph that is here. So when I place the hash, this is a different text. Okay, so that is how to work with DOM and then using query selector. Now this might confuse you if it's your first time this is an introductory course, but I would advise that you watch the video like twice and then practice until you understand it and you become like normal, the way you're already used to HTML syntax, and it's not very difficult. It's the same thing with JavaScript. Once you just get the whole concept, how the syntax works, everything will be easy. Okay, so now for your assignment, I want you to create something with query selector. You come to your HTML, write a text, and then go to your JavaScript and change it, but use query selector. You can do for 2-3 different texts like that, and you explore, try to do other things with it. Okay, so that's all for this video. See you in the next video.